Passengers said the Carnival cruise line smelled like poop, but that was an improvement.
Number 20. Pokemon Go. In the late 90s, Pokemon had just emerged as one of the biggest franchises in the entire world, so of course South Park had to cover it. In 1999, when this episode aired, the US was in the grip of another moral panic about whether Pokemon was satanic. At the very least, there was an idea that there was something sinister going on, and the episode culminates with the revelation that the boys are being spied on by their Chinpokomon collectibles. Fast forward to 2016, and the franchise did start tracking people, though it was totally done out in the open via the wildly popular mobile game Pokemon Go. Though, of course, Pokemon Go wasn't the precursor to a Japanese invasion of the United States. Number 19. Trigger warnings. Unlike many other episodes, this one wasn't intended by Parker to be a commentary on increasingly sensitive modern sensibilities. Instead, it's a look at how banning books, namely The Catcher in the Rye, only makes people want to read them more, as the boys embark on a mission to write the most offensive, bannable book of all time.
Yeah, we could get a book banned way more than this one. Yeah, sweet!
But it's the moment when Garrison explains why Catcher in the Rye is controversial that a prediction is indirectly made, as today, basically everything has to have a trigger warning at the beginning. But how many times have you watched something on Netflix with a trigger warning for strong language, only for it to barely have any profanity? Number 18. Sports teams changing names. Although not a prediction, there is a telling throwaway line by Jimbo in the episode about South Park's flag, where he asks Chef if the Cleveland Indians should change their name for being offensive.
Chef, what about the baseball team, the Cleveland Indians, huh? Should they change their name because it's racist?
Yeah.
No, because it's their history.
Look, I have gone through every quiet protest I could. I've written everyone, I've put up signs.
That was in 2000, and 2 decades on, the team announced they would be switching their team name to the Guardians because of the former name's appropriation of Native American culture. However, it wasn't the only time South Park examined this particular topic, featuring a whole episode about the similarly named Washington Redskins football team. In it, the boys are able to get the trademark for the team, while the owner laments over them, quote, culturally appropriating it.
Look, don't you see that when you call your organization the Washington Redskins, it's offensive to us?
How is it offensive?
How is it offensive? Jesus, we are a proud team, Mr. Cartman.
The episode aired in 2014, and 6 years later, after much mounting pressure, the Redskins would abandon their name. Number 17. Misconduct.
But please, don't sue us.
Huh?
This episode aired way back in 1999, 7 years before the first documented use of the phrase Me Too, and 18 years before the Me Too movement rose to prominence in Hollywood. In it, South Park Elementary is visited by Petey the sexual harassment panda, who sings a song to teach the kids about inappropriate behavior. Then they get carried away and begin constantly accusing each other of harassment, leading to myriad lawsuits.
This is ridiculous!
It echoes the prevalence of such allegations so many years on, though it is worth remembering that in reality, false allegations are extremely rare. Still, there are many similarities between this episode and the modern news cycle. Number 16. Drone-on-drone warfare.
Are you happy now? What? Is this? You think this is cool?
This episode began its life as an allegory for racial unrest in the US in the wake of Michael Brown's death in 2014. The townsfolk all buy their own drones, bringing on the arrival of swarms of police drones and eventually National Guard drones as peaceful drone vigils turn violent. But it ended up predicting something very odd happening in South Korea, as the country announced it was going to be using security drones to catch civilian-operated drones that invaded the airspace over the 2018 Winter Olympics in Seoul. And then, in 2021, the country announced an investment of $37 million in drone cops to eliminate unauthorized drones over airports. Number 15. Costume hypocrisy. This might be the most oddly specific and perfectly timed prediction of all. On September 27, 2017, this episode following Randy Marsh's checkered past as a diehard Christopher Columbus fan aired. We see Randy disavowing Columbus and campaigning to have his statues removed, only for Stan to discover that Randy was photographed at numerous fancy dress parties dressed as the man himself.
You hate Columbus so much, why'd you dress up like him?
Look, that was a long time ago, okay? Just a dumb Halloween costume.
Yeah, but here's you dressed as Columbus at a formal dinner, and here's you dressed as Columbus at a football game, and you as Columbus on St. Patrick's Day.
Look, I was younger. We were all younger.
A couple of days after the episode aired, a news story broke on a librarian rejecting a gift of Dr. Seuss books from Melania Trump on the grounds that they are, quote, racist, only for it to eventually be revealed that said librarian had been previously photographed dressed as and promoting the Cat in the Hat. Number 14, Brokeback Mountain.
You show me one independent film that isn't about gay cowboys eating pudding.
By the time this episode aired in 1998, Annie Proulx's short story Brokeback Mountain had already been published in The New Yorker for 2 years. But the successful movie starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger didn't release until 2005. The episode seemingly predicts the popularity of a movie still 7 years away from debuting by lambasting the Academy's love of a very specific genre of cowboy movie.
Say, Tom, do you have any pudding left?
I ate all mine up, silly.
Well, then now what do we do?
Who knew that such a movie would eventually become one of the most decorated and critically acclaimed pieces of cinema ever made? Or perhaps Trey Parker and Matt Stone read and enjoyed Proulx's short story and wanted to will the movie into being. Number 13, Ghost Costumes. This 2001 episode examines the fear the townspeople have when a large number of black celebrities start moving in. Though the issue they have is that these celebrities are all rich, and it's rich people they don't want in South Park.
That's the 5th family of them that's moved here. Seems like all of a sudden South Park is being overrun by those types.
Hey, what are you saying? What types?
You know, those types. Rich people.
Oh.
They embark on a mission to scare the rich people away, which eventually devolves into KKK-style tactics, most notably dressing up as ghosts because rich people hate ghosts.
We just saw the last of them speeding away in a van.
All right!
Obviously, it's meant to be ridiculous, but in 2015, a group of cadets at a military college in South Carolina were photographed doing the exact same thing. They were allegedly dressed as, quote, ghosts for a, quote, holiday skit, and were ultimately suspended because nobody bought that excuse. Number 12, Trump's tweets.
Look at what the president tweeted now!
Donald Trump writing ludicrous tweets wasn't something that started when he won the 2016 election. He had already been known as a chronic Twitter user for years, but this episode got a lot more specific. It showed Garrison tweeting something inflammatory at North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, daring him to nuke the town of South Park to get revenge on Tweek. Though Trump had already been tweeting about the situation in the week leading up to the episode, providing the inspiration, just days after it aired, he tweeted a threat that North Korea wasn't going to be around much longer, mirroring Garrison's statements. Number 11, Ebola in the U.S. Airing on October 1st, 2014, this episode was less than 2 weeks ahead of numerous deaths from an Ebola outbreak in the U.S.
Oh my God! These people don't even know! Hurry, you gotta go! Oh, Jesus! Hey! It isn't safe in there!
The episode isn't strictly focused on Ebola, instead suggesting that the fad of gluten-free diets in the U.S. mirrored the rise of ongoing outbreaks of Ebola in Africa at the time. But it's still unsettling that the first case of Ebola in the U.S. was announced the day before the episode aired, with the first death reported on October 8th. While we don't know how Parker is able to make such prescient episodes, we do know that you can't get Ebola from consuming gluten in real life.
We just need you to be in quarantine for a while until everyone figures out what's going on.
No! Not Papa John's! I don't want to go to Papa John's!
Number 10, Carnival Cruise Poop Disaster.
3.5 hours of food. Smells I can describe them.
When the Carnival Cruise Line's ship Triumph set off in early 2013, nobody on board knew the infamy it would achieve. But when a fire broke out on board and disabled the toilets and electricity, its over 3,000 passengers and crew were left on what was nicknamed the Poop Cruise, spending 4 days without working toilets, stranded in the Gulf of Mexico.
The doctor on the staff can, excuse my French, he can kiss my.
It was the worst experience I've ever had.
Just 3 years earlier in 2010, a news show on South Park reported that, quote, passengers said that the Carnival Cruise Line smelled like poop. Maybe people should have taken it as a warning against booking cruises with Carnival.
Passengers said the Carnival cruise line smelled like poop, but that was an improvement.
Number 9. Underground KFC Market.
The chicken shortage, which has forced KFC to close hundreds of its outlets in the UK, is our next story. The fast food giant blaming teething problems with a new delivery contract.
In February 2018, disaster struck KFC, one of the biggest fast food chains in the world, when a change in delivery supplier led up to 700 of its 900 UK branches to be temporarily closed due to a lack of chicken. Because of this shortage, people were able to sell buckets of chicken on eBay to desperate customers for as much as $140 US. This black market for chicken was mirrored in a 2010 episode of South Park, when all the KFCs close down, and the town's outlet becomes a medicinal marijuana dispensary, which leads to Colonel Sanders becoming a crime boss of a chicken smuggling empire, and Cartman a Scarface-type hotshot dealer.
Jamie Oliver gave his speech at the UN today. He was not supposed to give that speech, Eric.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll get him next time.
Number 8. Miley Cyrus's fame.
Britney Watch! Keeping you up to date with all your Britney Spears news. Oh boy, what's she done now?
In the 2008 episode Britney's New Look, the 4 boys try to help Britney Spears escape the torment of the paparazzi and general public, who are obsessed with taking her photo. Even more so after she shoots herself in the head and somehow survives. At the end of the episode, Britney dies surrounded by South Park citizens taking her picture. And soon after, a news anchor reports that Miley Cyrus, who was just 15 when this episode aired and still starring in Hannah Montana, will become the next big thing, a la Britney.
Hannah Montana's Miley Cyrus, though only 15 years old, is already on her way to being a major superstar. Looks like next harvest will be even better.
Considering Miley Cyrus's controversial phase in the early 2010s, it seems that the folks in the South Park writers' room got it right again. Number 7. Jared Fogle.
Jared Fogle has been charged and has admitted to participating in a 5-year criminal scheme.
In 2015, Subway guy Jared Fogle was convicted of several sex-related crimes and sent to prison. However, his ruining Subway's public image was first predicted in 2002 by South Park. In the episode in question, he tells everybody his weight loss success is actually due to his having AIDS, spelled AIDS, which everyone mistakes as him saying he has acquired immunodeficiency syndrome.
I got AIDS about 2 years ago, and I've been losing weight ever since. It's amazing how slim you can get with AIDS.
For his promise to give everyone AIDS, he is fired from Subway. Though he makes a reappearance in the 2017 video game South Park: The Fractured But Whole as a boss hell-bent on mistreating the boys.
AIDS for everyone!
Get him!
Number 6. Chipotle Contamination.
Hi, Billy Mays here for Mega Scrub Cleanser.
The main plot of this episode centers around Ike Broflovsky being tormented by dead celebrities, but a subplot involves Billy Mays advertising a product called Chipotle Away, which is able to remove the bloodstains people get in their pants after eating food from Chipotle.
Well, now there's a product that can clean even bloodstains caused by Chipotle right off your underwear. Chipotle Away!
6 years after it aired, E. coli in Chipotle products caused more than 50 people to get sick. The 2015 outbreak meant the chain was forced to close 43 restaurants in Oregon and Washington alone. Unfortunately for the customers affected by the outbreak, no such Chipotle-type quick fix exists in the real world.
I know we're never going to eat there again after this. This was just a horrible experience.
Number 5. Elon Musk and Mars.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the tour. I'm Elon Musk.
Seeking to escape a world of internet trolls and social media, Cartman and his girlfriend Heidi Turner seek refuge at the SpaceX building in the hopes that they can get on a rocket and go to Mars because it has, quote, shitty Wi-Fi. Elon Musk shows up and tells them they still haven't solved all the science problems involved with going to Mars. But Cartman, along with Butters and musical icon Cher, stay waiting. This episode is from 2016. But it was just a year later that Musk began to publicly outline his plan to send a rocket to Mars as early as 2019.
Elon Musk says his Mars rocket will be ready to fly next year, and he's not interested in people saying he's too optimistic.
Number 4. Mel Gibson goes insane.
How?
An episode from Season 8 details the various responses to Mel Gibson's movie The Passion of the Christ. While Kyle's Jewish faith is shaken, and Cartman opts to go a neo-Nazi route with his Mel Gibson fan club, Stan and Kenny simply think the movie sucked and go to get their money back.
Hey, we want our money back.
When they get to Gibson's mansion, they find he's a religious extremist and that he is obsessed with forcing people to torture him.
Look, dude, we came a long way. We're not leaving until you give us our money.
Oh yeah? Well, you're gonna have to find it first. But I won't tell you where I keep my money. You can torture me all you want. I still won't tell you!
Eerily, 2 years later in 2006, when Gibson was arrested for a DUI, he told the police that, quote, "The Jews are responsible for all the wars in the world," echoing the ideas parodied in this episode.
Kapla! And good evening, friends!
Number 3. The death of Osama bin Laden.
Hello, Mr. bin Laden. My name is Randy, and I'm a geologist in America.
When the popularity of reality show Jersey Shore threatens to take over America, Randy Marsh knows there is only one course of action: sending a videotape to Osama bin Laden and begging Al-Qaeda for help. Al-Qaeda obliges and kills the Jerseyites by crashing hijacked planes into them. At the end of the episode, while bin Laden is being honored for his work, a Special Forces commando descends from the ceiling and shoots him in the head. Sure enough, SEALs actually killed bin Laden on May 2, 2011, just about 7 months after this episode aired.
Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda.
Number 2. Trump's presidency.
You see? There! This is why it's happening!
Many people didn't believe Trump would win the 2016 election, including Parker and Stone, who had to hastily rewrite the end of season 20 to accommodate for the fact that he, and therefore Garrison, was the victor.
Just as J.J. Abrams did with Star Wars, I will make this country great again!
But they already predicted this outcome an entire year earlier in an episode that aired in September 2015. South Park is awash with Canadian immigrants in this season, who have all moved down south to escape from Canada's own Donald Trump in the Great White North, who has even built a wall to separate the country from the US. Yeah, though they already covered Trump's potential victory 14 months prior, even they didn't realize he'd actually win. Number 1. Racist flags.
Mayor, as I've said before, I find that flag to be racist and insensitive.
The premise of the 2000 episode Chef Goes Nanners centered on a debate about changing the South Park town flag, which depicted 4 white stick people standing around a black stick person hanging from a noose. Chef says the flag is clearly racist and must be changed, while Jimbo says the flag is traditional and must stay the same to preserve their heritage.
This has been the South Park flag since some of our ancestors, like my great-grandfather, founded this land.
Although conversations surrounding the controversy behind the Confederate flag have been going on for ages, 15 years after this episode aired, a major dialogue began in real life about its place in modern America. Many major retailers began banning Confederate flags from being sold in their stores, while various states chose to remove the flag from any official government property or product. South Park. It's always a step ahead.
I have to admit it, that is a lot nicer.
Phew, I'm sure glad that's over with.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.